This is Jonathan Lambert with the Mathematics Development and Support Service at the National College of Ireland. And this short video, another video in our series on Excel Basics, is going to concentrate on the COUNTIF function in Excel. Okay. So this particular function in Excel allows us to count a series of values, or allows us to count values that are specified within a range. For example, I have a range of values here in this particular data set. Okay, so it allows us to count values in a range that meet a specific condition. Okay, I suppose one thing about the COUNTIF function is that it's important that the condition is unary. There's just a single condition. It's not binary, or it's not made up of multiple criteria. Okay, some examples of what we'd probably like to count is we'd like to count if a value in a particular range, like here, is less than 65, or if the value is greater than 65, or if the value is less than or equal to 65, or maybe how many values in this particular range are greater than or equal to 65. Okay? As opposed to being able to count with the COUNTIF, using the COUNTIF function, things like if the value is greater than 65 and if the value is less than 70. So these types of tests here are excluded at this stage using the COUNTIF function. In a later video, the video after this, we look at the COUNTIFs function, where we can specify multiple criteria. But in this particular example, what I'd like to be able to do is, I'd like to be able to count how many values in this particular range of values, okay, are less than 65. Okay, so to do that, well, what we need to do is we need to go into function mode by pressing the equal sign, okay, and we need to spell out the name of the function. In this case, the function is called COUNTIF, followed by an open round brace. And you can actually see that the syntax of the function actually pops up underneath the function when we spelled it out. And you can actually see that the word range is highlighted here, or it's in bold font. So actually the first parameter to be passed into the COUNTIF function is the range of values that the count function has to process through and count to see whether they meet a particular criteria. So I'm going to specify the range by clicking on the first cell in the range and just dragging down to the last cell in the range. So you can actually see in this situation, the COUNTIF is concentrating on the range from C4 to G15. C4 being here, and G15 being down here, and everything that's triangulated by these two values. So now I've specified the range, I hit comma, and now I specify the criteria. Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to count values in here that are less than 65. Now, this particular notation here says value less than 65. So what we need to do here is we need to specify, okay, we need to specify the relational operator, and we do that inside quotation marks. So the relational operator is less than, and then I specify the value that I want to count the value that's setting this particular threshold. So in this case, 65. Then I close off the quotation marks and I close off my round bracket. And this function here, as I read, is saying, okay, go through the range of values from C4 to G15 and count how many values are less than 65. So when I hit return on that, I get 15. There's 15 values in this range that are less than 65. Okay, well, what about how many values are greater than 65? Okay, in a similar way, to enter function mode, we hit equals, we spell out the name of the function, COUNTIF, followed by the range of values. Okay, so we specify the range of values, followed by a comma, and then we're into the criteria. And this time I'd like to count values if they're greater than 65. So once again, we put the criteria inside quotation marks. So we're going to have the double quote, and it's greater than 65, followed by the closing double quote. Okay? So this particular function call is going to count values in the range from C4 to C15, and it's only going to count the values that are greater than 65. So when I hit return on that, I get there's 42 values in the data set that are greater than, strictly greater than 65. Okay. Say we're interested in values that are less than or equal to 65. So that means when we're counting them, we also want to count the values that are actually equal to 65. So to do this, once again, we go into the function mode with an equals, followed by the COUNTIF function, followed by open round brace, we specify the range, this time from C3 down to G15, followed by a comma, followed by, I suppose, our quotation marks, and we specify the relational operator, which is less than or equal to and the number that we want to count the values that are less than or equal to, which in this case is 65, and we close off the quotation mark and the open round brace. So this function is going to count values in the range from C4 to C15 that are less than or equal to 65, in which case we get 18. So you can actually see there's a little bit of a difference between the answer we got here. There was actually 15 values less than 65. They're values that were less than it. And there was 18 values that were less than or equal to 65. The difference between our 18 and 15 being 3, which would imply that there's actually 3 values that are equal to 65. Okay, let's do it again. Actually, let's this time check how many values are actually equal to, and I'll just write it down here, that are equal to 65. Okay, we're saying that there should be 3. Let's see what the function says. So I hit equals followed by COUNTIF. Actually, let me put that in uppercase. It doesn't make any difference whether it's in uppercase or lowercase, but I think it's a little bit better to read. COUNTIF, open round brace. The range is from C3 down to G15, and I want to count the values if they're equal to 65, and I close off my round brace and I hit return, and there you go, there's 3. So there's many different operations that we can put in here, or relational operations as they're called. We can use the less than, we can use the greater than sign, we can use less than or equal to, or even equal to, and we can also do, I suppose, whether the value is greater than or equal to 65. So let's just do that to be exhaustive in relation to what we're doing. So to go into function mode, I hit equals, followed by the name of the function, COUNTIF, and this time the range of values is specified from here down to the end, C4 down to G15. I hit comma to go into criteria mode. This time I want to count values if they're greater than or equal to 65. So I'm going to count values if they're greater than or equal to the value 65. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit return on that, and I get 45. There's 45 values greater than or equal to 65. Actually, once again, you can see that how many values were greater than 65? There was 42. There was 45 greater than or equal to 65, which means, once again, there was 3 values that were equal to 65. Okay, guys, I hope this video was somewhat helpful and intuitive, which was dealing with the COUNTIF function. The next video is going to deal with a COUNTIFs function that allows us to specify multiple criteria and allows us to count how many values are even contained within ranges or outside ranges of values, and so on and so forth. So once again, guys, this was Jonathan Lambert with the Mathematics Development and Support Service at the National College of Ireland, and I hope this video was in some way helpful and intuitive.